Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Anna Sarwar will be launching the Labour manifesto this week, and he says it's going to lead Labour into a victory at Holyrood in 2026. And I think it doesn't matter what is in that manifesto. I think Labour in Scotland are a shoo-in for government in 2026. They will be the biggest party in Holyrood in 2026. I think unless something massively changes, there's no way of stopping this particular juggernaut. The momentum is there and it will carry through. The only fly in the ointment is how badly Labour at Westminster may do up until that point. There may be some rejection, but failure than an absolute car crash, which is no means guaranteed it won't happen. It seems that Anna Sarwar will become the First Minister, and Scotland will once again have a Muslim First Minister pushing that particular agenda. I'm sure the boys down the mosque will have their little, their little agent in place like they did previously. We saw how bad that was. It's never good to have politics by religion. I don't object to Anna Sarwar as a human being, and if he wants to have his particular viewpoint religiously, that's separate from the state. But unfortunately, it won't be. We saw it with Humza Yousaf, and I'm pretty sure we'll see it with Anna Sarwar. That aside, it seems that, yes, Labour will take the seats, will get the majority, and when doing so, will utterly destroy any chance that the SNP have of ever getting a referendum. Certainly not for the next foreseeable future. So that is the upside of it. But let's take a look, see what Sarwar's saying and what his manifesto may hold. Here goes. So, Scottish Labour manifesto will chart a path to 2026 elections, says Sarwar. As I say, he's probably right, as there's very little that's going to stop Labour steamrolling their way into being the next government of Scotland at Holyrood. The Labour leader was unveiling the party's campaign battle bus on Monday, and it hasn't yet, but it's coming out today. At the time of release, the time of recording this, it's about half an hour away, 40 minutes away, so it may well have been published by the time you see this video. Anyway, the manifesto that Scottish Labour will publish will help the party chart a path to 2026. Leader Anna Sarwar said as he ponders the next Holyrood election. Now, we're less than 2 years away now, and it is going to be a very different kind of election. And as some of you will know, I am giving serious consideration to standing in that election myself. Obviously, a lot more of the work will occur a lot nearer the time. No point planning this far out, but with probably 8 to 10 months prior to it is when I start picking it up and running with that and getting things sorted. But it is something I feel it's important, so keep an eye on that. Anyway, Labour has seen a resurgence in recent years, cementing the party back into second place in Scottish politics and putting them neck and neck with the SNP in recent polls on Westminster voting intention. And indeed, recently, I think it's 9 or 10 on the trot now, where Labour have actually been slightly ahead of the SNP. And with tactical voting, of which more later, there's a video coming up later, so keep an eye out for that. So do hit subscribe if you're yet to subscribe. You won't want to miss the tactical voting video. We could actually write off the SNP almost entirely, get rid of them entirely from Westminster. That, I think, would be spectacular. Anyway, the party appears to be setting its sight on the race for Bute House and is hoping to build a potential Labour government in London. Potential? Almost certain, isn't it? Writing in the Daily Record newspaper, Sarwar said, to deliver the change that Scotland needs, we need change at Holyrood too, because 17 years of SNP failure has left every single institution in Scotland weaker. Now, I've always said, and I reiterate it here, that I don't think that necessarily Scottish Labour will be good. I think they will be different. The difference, I think, mainly is that they will be looking at whatever they're doing from a political point of view, but they won't be looking at it through an independence lens. And so, therefore, they're likely to get certainly some things right, even by pure chance, whereas the SNP seem to have done every decision and made the conscious decision to take the wrong decision every single time. I can't see a second government doing exactly the same. So chances are some things will work, some things won't, and that's the nature of politics. Anyway, he says, Scottish Labour will publish our manifesto, which we will set out in more detail what Labour's plans mean in Scotland. It will also chart a path to the 2026 Scottish Parliament election, he says, and show how Scottish Labour would use the devolved powers we already have in Scotland to change our country. Now, it doesn't say change it for the better, just change it. He says, too often the SNP has failed to make use of opportunities of devolution, preferring to talk about what it can't do. And after 17 years in government, the SNP cannot dodge responsibility for its record. And as I say, one only has to look at everything that's failed. And everything has. That's it. So is that short? Is that it? A short piece, isn't it? Yep, that's it. So he's basically coming up and saying, look, everything's bad under the SNP. We'll make it better. But how much better can they make it? Is it like a proper, detox, get to a health studio and come out like bronzed and wonderful? Or is it just sticking plasters over open wounds? I feel it will be just sticking plasters over open wounds, because they won't have the ability to change anything that needs to be changed quickly. And of course, with the Labour government then increasing taxes left, right and centre, there's going to be even less money for people. People will become poorer, more reliant on things, generally increasing poverty and misery. And I honestly don't think that Sarwar and the Labour Party in Scotland at Holyrood level can change anything while you've got a Labour Party at Westminster. Particularly not if you live in the North East, because after all, Labour are very anti-oil as well. And despite what Stephen Flynn says, that the SNP, I'll protect you, the SNP have come out and they're anti-oil, Labour are anti-oil. If anyone lives in the North East of Scotland and votes either Labour or SNP, you literally need your head examined. But we'll leave that there. Anyway, there we go. It will be published. I'll do the full video when it does get published, because it'd be worth a laugh, wouldn't it? The SNP's one's coming out as well. I think today or tomorrow. That'll be worth a laugh as well. It's going to be filled with pathetic nonsense. Things we could have done if only we had the power. Please. Anyway, we'll come up and finish off. So there you go. Scotland's next Muslim in chief, talking about how great it'll be with him in charge. But I guarantee he won't repeal the Hate Act. Anyway, thanks for listening. Do take care. Please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. I will speak to you later. Bye.